Jim Norton is not a doctor. He's not an expert. He's not even a good person. The views, opinions, advice, and humor of Jim Norton does not reflect those of any doctor, of SiriusXM, of Opie Radio, or anyone else. They are solely those of Jim Norton, Lyle Chipperson, Edgar Mellencamp, Paul Hargis, and whoever else lives in that chinless head of his. If any of this advice goes wrong, you are the asshole who called a comedian instead of a doctor.
An icon in comedy, a fighter for freedoms, an accomplished entertainer, and a pervert. You've got problems, he's got problems. You've got questions, he's got answers, some of which are good. Call now, 866-WOW-1-WOW. That's 866-969-1969. This is the Jim Norton Show.
You know, it's, thank you for tuning in. This Roper's theme song makes me a bit sad. Because 2 days ago, it looks like 2 days ago, Jeffrey Tambor was back at Sirius, and he passed on our show. You know, he did other shows at Sirius, and this was not a publicist thing, this was Jeffrey. Just because we had that, like, kind of weird interaction last time he was on. You know, actors are such flakes. It's why I prefer comedians over actors any day. Because the first time Jeffrey was on, he was really funny. He's a funny guy. Great actor. But he's a ball breaker. He's very aggressive. Like, he'll point at you and say something. Are you doing that? You know, like that type of humor. He's very kind of offbeat and silly. And so the next time he's on, Opie asked him about, we were talking about Transparent. And Opie said something, well, do you look good in a dress? And, you know, look, is it the most trans-sensitive question? Maybe not. But the type of radio show or the type of an audience that we have, it's not bad. And instead of just kind of playing it off, and Jeffrey saying something, you know, answering the question, and then maybe using that to segue into a talking point about the show, he gets upset about, you know, and it's like, these fucking actors, they take their roles so seriously and the characters so seriously. And it's like, hey, stupid, we would have promoted the show heavily because you're so good in it to an audience that might not be as inclined to watch it. You know, what do you just want to continue preaching to the choir? You go on out Q and try to convince that audience. You don't need to convince them. So whatever. Very frustrating, and the Roper's theme song just made me think of that. But all is not lost. 2 reasons. My tour is on pre-sale today, jimnorton.com. Norton is the password. Now, someone told me that DC, we did not get a link for a DC pre-sale. I don't know what that's about. So go to the Lincoln Theater in Washington, D.C. Check if there's a pre-sale link there. Maybe my agent's people just made a mistake because there were so many that they had to do. Maybe they just forgot to send that one to my web guy. Bigger news than the tour, though. Who cares about the tour? Who cares about Jeffrey Tambor? I'm answering Kelly in D.C. No ticket link for D.C. That's why I'm saying this, Kelly. Go to the Lincoln Theater, Washington, D.C. I just don't know what the deal is, and I apologize if that was an oversight on the part. I didn't catch it, and neither did my web guy. He thought that it was on purpose, so maybe my agent's lady just didn't send it. But again, who cares about my tour? The important thing, there's a cough button now. That may work. So I want you guys to hear this. I just coughed. But you didn't hear that, did you? Hold on, let me clear my throat, gang. Throat's nice and clear, but nobody noticed. All right, let's go. Eddie in Greenwich. What's up, Eddie?
Listen, Jim, I've got to give you more credit than anybody in the history of radio.
That's a lot of people.
Because when Opie humiliated you, he was obviously trying to bait you into quitting.
Honestly, hold on. I'll say that I didn't feel humiliated. I didn't feel it was a humiliation.
For him to tell you on the air that you weren't close, I felt your pain. I really did. You're loyal. You're honest. You're trustworthy. When are you going to be at Foxwoods?
A what?
When are you appearing at Foxwoods?
Foxwoods is in, I think, February. You have to go to my website and check. I will be there.
I will be there, but here's the problem. I like to shoplift. I like to steal a little shit. How do I get over it?
Well, it's an addiction. Kleptomania is an addiction. Why are you stealing? What's it do for you?
I just like it. Like, even if I could slide one thing by, I just feel like I got away with something, you know, because everyone fucks you. If the product you get scans, listen, if it scans in their favor, you're fucked. You check your receipt. Every time you go to the grocery store, something is overpriced. And you get home and you're like, oh, fuck, I know it wasn't right. And some asshole didn't take the tag off the shelf.
Well, you're making an excuse for yourself to steal. So you can't say, how do I stop stealing? And I'll tell you the one way to stop stealing, stop justifying why you're doing it. Like, you know, if you're really stealing stuff, I understand that, like, I'm perpetually honest with money. Like, I've been dishonest in my life, but I can never steal money. Like, I've given money back to clubs. It just feels dirty to have money, that, you know, if someone hands you too much or if they drop their wallet. You know, it's just because they overcharge you sometimes in the...
Listen, this bitch...
In the supermarket is not an excuse, dude.
I was in the line to return, like, some eggs that were broken. And this big fat slob lady drops a 20, and she's buying lottery tickets. So I took my foot, and I covered her 20. And literally, she got up to the counter, and she didn't have her 20 to buy her lottery tickets. I coughed, bent down, I took it out, I kept that 20. How's that?
Up to you, bro. I mean, I wouldn't have, you did. You know it's fucked up, so what do you want me to tell you?
I love your Uncle Paul. I love your Uncle Paul. I think the show has been better since Anthony has been gone.
I disagree.
They put you in the middle. You are in the middle.
But they they didn't put me there. No, I'm a grown-up. Nobody put me there. I do have two close friends who are in this situation. But I disagree the show has been better since Anthony left. And that's not a knock on me, and it's not a knock on Opie. I'm not knocking what we're doing or trying to do, which is just kind of keep going and do radio. But you can't in any situation take such a funny person away and say, it's better without that person. It's different. We try to bring in people and make people laugh. But, you know, you can never take away a guy of that caliber humor and say anything is better. You know, and again, I'm not shitting on Oprah myself or the effort that we're making. All right, Eddie, I appreciate your call, but that's how you stop shoplifting. First of all, realize why you're doing it and stop making excuses for it if that's really an issue with you. And also, start thinking through the consequences, or just keep doing it till you get arrested. And then, you know, spend the night in jail for $20 and then you go, oh, that was probably pretty stupid. All right, let's see here. Bryce in Dallas. Hi, Bryce.
Holy shit, that guy was annoying.
Well, you know, he means well. But, you know, he's stealing stuff. Now he just stole a little bit of our time, and we can't get it back. What's up?
Hey, I know you're a big UFC fan. Huge card this weekend. Rockhold, Weidman, McGregor, Aldo. Who do you like in those?
I have to go with Weidman. If he, you know, I can't bet against anyone. I can't take anyone over Weidman after what he did to Anderson Silva. Me and Bob Kelly talked about this, and Bob's like, dude, they're going to fight till the very end, and you know, Weidman's going to win a decision, and Bobby's pretty good. He's lousy at most things in life, but UFC is pretty knowledgeable. So I'm going to say it's going to be Weidman. Bob thinks by a decision. I do think that I love Aldo, so I'm taking Aldo to hopefully beat McGregor quickly, even though I'm going to the fight, so I don't want to just be out of there in 8 seconds. But I have a feeling those leg kicks, I don't think Aldo's ever been hit by anything as hard as, McGregor's ever been hit by anything as hard as Jose Aldo's leg kicks. So I'm hoping that Aldo is disgusted enough and ready enough to really, you know, to do what he can do. But who knows? I mean, you know, McGregor may surprise you, but I have a feeling Aldo can kill him. All right?
All right, cool, man. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Let's see here. Cindy in Florida has some advice for the previous caller. That's the beauty of this show. Community outreach. We help each other. Hi, Cindy.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just want to say I've listened to you for a long time. Love you. I just saw you in Jacksonville 3-4 weeks ago. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Here's a little real advice for that guy. I used to do that. And same thing, you're like, oh, it all evens out. You know, I overpay for this, whatever. Let me tell you what happens when you get caught. Not only, first of all, your entire life changes. my neighbors, my friends, my family, and my kids and my husband read about it in the paper.
Okay.
Okay? I lost my job. I am on was put on probation, so now I have to check in every month, and I have to pay for that privilege because of what I did. In addition to paying a lawyer $10,000, having that on my record, and not being able to get a job for probably 2 years.
Let me ask you, how much was the item you were going to steal, Cindy?
It was multiple, but that I took. But whether it's one thing or 6 things, I'm telling you, you F your life in such a way that, trust me, if I could take a year off my life to go back and change it, I would. You know why it's funny? I would never have thought of that, because with shoplifting, I don't do it at all. And I'm so like, wow, with the electronic stuff, and nobody is doing it anymore. But I guess people are still shoplifting a lot. And I never think what happens when somebody gets caught. What happens to a person? So thank you. That's really interesting to know. Yeah.
You regret it. How long ago did this happen to you?
5 years.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your call. That's very helpful.
Yeah, and when you said to him, spend a night in jail, that would be the easiest thing for him to do. But the ripple effect, as far as what it causes you financially, emotionally, what it does to your friendships, your family, I'm telling you, it's a nightmare. Well, thank you for saying that. I would never have thought of the lawyer's fee either. You're right. You got to get a lawyer. Thank you so much. No problem. You have a good one. Love you, Jim. All right. Take care. Let's see here. Jeff in Chicago. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Jimmy. How you doing, buddy?
Hey.
Hey, I was just, I don't want to take up too much of your time. A couple of years ago, a friend of mine committed suicide, and I've been kicking around the idea of, I got out of touch with his family and have been wanting to reach out to them again, but I am scared or nervous of reopening wounds for his family. And I'm wondering,
what did you want to say? How were you close to the family?
I was closer to their son more than the family, but at his viewing and a couple months after, I would check in on them and just kind of see how everybody was. But I don't know, for some reason, just the past couple weeks, I've been thinking about my friend a lot, and sure, I've been wanting to reach out to them.
Well, I don't know how much, it's like with Patrice, we all keep in touch with Georgia. We'll send texts, especially around the holidays. I love seeing her. With Vaughn, it's been very helpful for her to have all of us around at times and talking about this. And, if his family sees you, the worst that can happen is they feel sad again. But I'm sure there's a million things that trigger that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think there's anything, especially a suicide. I don't think they've ever gotten over it and like, oh no, he's around. Shit, I forgot he killed himself. So I think if anything, it would make them feel better to know that, hey, his friends are reaching out and saying how we're doing. And if you really want to talk to them, the worst that can happen is that it makes them uncomfortable. But those wounds are already probably still open, and there's probably constant things reopening. So I don't think it's bad for you to contact and just tell them you're thinking of them.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I think you're right, Jim. I'll reach out to his family today. And
okay.
Hey, man, I'm pumped to see you in Chicago on February 11th. I'm looking forward to getting tickets and watching you knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that theater as well. Everyone who's been doing Chicago has been saying how amazing that gig is. So I cannot wait to get out there. That's the start of the tour, is Chicago. So I've gotten so many requests, and I hope people come out.
Great, man. You got it. Good luck, and have a great tour.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
All right. Let's see here. Bill in New Orleans. I am coming to New Orleans. First stand-up ever in New Orleans will be on this tour. So I hope people come out and see me. What's up, Bill?
Yeah, you're going to be at the Joy Theater on April 21st.
Okay, good. You know more about my schedule than I do. Thank you, buddy.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to be there. So when that moron called earlier about Anthony, one thing I wanted to say is I was a Stern listener back in the day, and they used to have Billy West and Jackie the Joke Man both on there. When they were on there, the show, the dynamic, Billy West doing the voices of Mark Schott and all of the comedy was just incredible.
Right.
When they left the show, the dynamic changed, and it wasn't better. Now, he gained new fans from just being who he was
right,
and his personality, but you cannot say a show is better without this guy. That guy is incredible. Anthony is incredible. He's always been incredible, and he always will. And
by saying that, like by me saying that, by me saying that, it really is not. And I'm not being fakely humble, but and I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. Anthony wasn't fired for not being funny. Do you know what I mean? If all of a sudden Anthony wasn't performing on the radio show and then he got fired, then we could go, well, but that's not what it was. It was something that had nothing to do with the radio show. So I don't think Opie would deny that. I think that he knows that we're doing the best we can. And, under shit circumstances, which honestly I did not choose. And despite the issues between Opie and Opie didn't choose these either. And Anthony certainly didn't. But I would never make that claim. And I would argue that claim that we're better without him. I don't believe it at all. But again, I like working. I like having a job. And, Ant knows how I feel about him.
Yeah, I love y'all both. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much, man. What's up, Mark in New Jersey? How are you?
Oh.
Hey, buddy. Hello?
Hey, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, sex addiction question. A little backstory is I was completely out of control until October 2014. That's when I stopped and made a vow of abstinence. And I've kind of been waiting till I find, like, a partner or someone that I trust and love. But lately, end of 2015, I'm kind of now getting myself back into, and it's like, I'm nervous. I don't want to start the cycle again of, you know what I mean, like have to message everyone on Craigslist or Backpage or go all over the place. And I'm wondering, like, how do I make sure it's going to be, I guess, a healthy experience? You know how in the program they talk about, like a healthy, enjoyable experience rather than, like, feeling shame and emptiness afterwards.
You know, it's funny, man. I've had such a hard time with that one. With the sex addiction for me has been a really difficult one. So I tell you what I know just from my head as opposed to my behavior, which has not been great. And that is anytime you're trying to get, to stop doing something addictive, one way to help you is when these things come up, and they do come up, and I've used this before, I just haven't stuck with it with the sex stuff, call somebody. Like a lot of times, man, there's been times where I wanted to act out and I pick up the phone and I call somebody, and it helps a lot. Somebody who knows, somebody who knows.
I mean, I'm trying to start doing, like, controlled, healthy sexual behavior. Like, I want to start kind of, I guess, you know what I mean? Like,
well, how do you know it's not going to spiral you down that road?
That's what I mean. I was wondering if you knew.
You're not going to call in the middle of sex. But maybe before you go out and see the person, you could talk to somebody who you respect or who's got, like, sexual sobriety you respect. Or you could call a friend afterwards and go, hey, man, I did this and this is how I'm feeling. Or if you go to 12-step meetings, go to a meeting after or the next day and talk about it. Like, almost like, don't look at it like, okay, wow, now I'm healthy and I'm cured. I can just go out and do whatever I want. Like, with each step, you still do the other peripheral stuff that keeps you healthy. Do you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, with drinking, when you stop drinking, you can't avoid alcohol forever. You can avoid most hard drugs. Yeah. You can't avoid booze. So what you try to do is you go, okay, if I'm going to be in a bar, maybe the first time I'm going to a bar, I call somebody, or say you have a business meeting that's going to take you to a bar, or a place where people are going to be drinking. There's business lunches that people have to do. Talk to somebody sober first or talk to somebody sober after. Those things really help keep you connected. This way you don't feel alone and isolated.
Well, I mean, is there a way that someone could have a positive sexual experience? Like, because they say you can't, I mean, obviously I can't be abstinent for the rest of my life, but it's like, you know what I mean?
Of course you can have positive sexual experiences, of course.
That's what I'm saying. How do I arrange this one? Because I feel like I'm only really going to know after it's over.
Well, I guess that's the only way you can do is go through it. You can't have a pre-signed guarantee that you're not going to behave badly afterwards, or that it's going to be great, or that, you know what I mean? That's not what life is. There's no way you can get a guarantee, like, how do I know before? You don't. You can only do it and take it one moment at a time, and then, take it an hour at a time if you have to. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't look at it like it's a 3-day event. Look at it like the sexual thing is an event, and then afterwards you can pick up the phone and call somebody. I mean, that's all I can suggest to you, because I don't think there's any way to guarantee anything.
Yeah, I guess I'm just too egotistical on that. I went like an entire year and a month without ever being with a partner, which is insane for me.
Well, that's not a bad thing, Yeah. That's not a bad thing. I'm sure sex will be great, too. It'll probably feel really good when you do it again.
Yeah. Oh, another thing before I left, I wanted to just address this because I have constant douche chills with my favorite comedian, Jim Norton.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the taping of your show, I was in the audience and I'd asked a question and I wrote it on the paper, and I thought you would have screened the question before because it was a joke question, and I didn't want to like fuck up the taping. What happened was I'd asked like a joke question of could I plug my band, and I wanted to ask Bailey J out. But I was just giving you the motion of, like, my questions that, like, I didn't know if you read it or not. And then what happened was you had just said, sir, do you have a question? And then a stagehand gave me a microphone. And I keep thinking about that, and I know you probably don't even remember it, but I keep thinking about that, and it gives me douche chills, like, oh, no, Jim Norton thinks I'm an asshole.
No, dude, I don't even remember it. And I would never think that anyway. Like, if somebody had a nervous or a weird moment or being silly, no, dude, I appreciated people coming to that. No, not at all. Do I think you're a douche? No, not even.
And then what happened was I hugged you and then shook your hand, and I didn't know you were shorter in person, but there was
I'm a little guy, sir.
Yeah, there was a line in front of me, so I was going to leave, but I don't think you could see the line, so then I was just standing next to you awkwardly for like at least 20 seconds, and I shook your hand again. I didn't know what to do.
Well, I have no negative memories about that, so I appreciate you being there, okay?
All right, I love you so much, and good luck on the tour and everything. I hope to see you. Peace. I love you.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it, buddy.
Bye.
Thanks for coming. Guy in Peekskill. What's up, Guy?
Big fan. I'm listening for a long time.
Thanks, Bob.
I have a couple questions. Well, hopefully I don't panic and punch out. Have you ever thought about going back to school, college?
No, there's really no need for it. I mean, I like the fact that I am technically a high school dropout, and I make my living. Because there's really, the only thing, like, when you look at a guy like Duff McKagan, who went back to school to master in business, like, that's fucking smart. But I have no, what would I go back for? You know, there's nothing I could get out of it that I can think of.
For yourself, you know, me and you, we're very similar. I dropped out of high school, went to work, went back to college. And when I first went back to college, one of the hardest things was, you know, working full-time and going to school and paying for it.
Okay.
You know, you're super successful. Okay. You're a good-looking guy.
Oh, stop
smart.
it. Oh,
I think if you went back now, I think you'd do really well. You know, there's a lot of reasons to go. I can't give you all of them. I think you know.
Well, thank you.
I think it'll help you out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, thanks very much.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Kathy in Ohio. Thanks, man. What's up, Kathy?
Jim, this is Kathy. At this point, it's going to be reiterating what you've already been discussing. I wanted to talk about the incident last week. I am definitely off your demographic spectrum.
Okay.
White woman who's over 50.
Oh, well, thank you for listening to the show.
I enjoy the show, and when it gets too much, I turn it off.
Sure,
that's my privilege. That's my right.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's all any performer asks. Enjoy the parts of it that you can enjoy. It's a 3.5-hour show every day. There's going to be some things, I'm sure, that are not for you, and that's fine.
I agree with what you said. The show is not better. I truly enjoyed the spontaneous banter between you and Ant.
Right.
I missed that part. Last week, I felt that why, after a year, Opie was expressing this hurt and this pain that he had. I thought to me, it was like a petulant child.
A what? You mean petulant?
Yes, thank you.
You know, let me just jump in, Kathy. In all honesty, I don't know. If you're saying, like, why was anything expressed after this much time? But I don't have an answer for that. It's funny, we talked in the bathroom today, afterwards, the show. I bumped it open in the bathroom. He goes, dude, if you want to sit down, we can talk and whatever. We really haven't addressed it, but it's not like there's been no discomfort. You know, we both just kind of come in, we say hello in the morning, we chit chat. We've been doing the show, and afterwards, I typically run out to the gym 4 days a week, or I run out to the airport with Kenny. So we haven't been avoiding it. I think that we both know, like, okay, the show is continuing, so why bring up? I don't have an answer to that if that's a question. I really don't know.
I feel that he's jealous of your relationship, and I think that's the bottom line. He wanted you to rah-rah, and you chose to stay out of it, but you've also made your feelings known about Anthony, and I think he's jealous.
Well, maybe. I mean, maybe jealous in the way that, like, whenever we have something that we're not like anything. Relationships are such bizarre things. Whether between two men or a man and a woman or just friends or whatever it is. You know, when you're friends with somebody for that many years and you have all of these things happen, multiple firings, the girlfriend was friends with the wife, and then this one leaves this one, and this one's not nice to that one, and this one gets, when there's so many layers to a fucking friendship, it's almost like, you ever see those things when a bunch of rats they find get their tails tangled up and they're all dead? I forget about a king rat, I think it's called. That's what it becomes. Relationships become these weird entangled things where you start looking for what started it all and what began all of this, and you can't even find it anymore. It just gets fucking matted up in this tangled mess. So I really don't know exactly what began the whole weird thing between those guys, but it was there when I arrived, and I found that out a long time later. Like, you know, I'm such a fucking unobservant idiot. Opie told me like a long time ago that him and Ant were talking a lot when I first got brought on board, and I did not even realize that. Like, I was just so fucking happy to be there. So, you know, I don't know why things happened the way they did, but whatever. I mean, again, it was certainly not the worst argument. It was just two guys, you know, snipping at each other for, that's, I think it went a long time because neither one of us were, like I said last week, we're attempting to throw knockout blows. It probably would have been a much shorter fight if we were saying truly horrible things.
Perhaps.
All right? I appreciate you listening, though. You know, I really do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Take care. What's up, Maggie in Chicago, where I will be February 11th? How are you?
Oh, my God. Hi. I'm actually really surprised that I got through. I'm really excited to talk to you. You're really hilarious.
Oh, you're very sweet.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. Basically, I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend for about 7 years. He's the first guy that I've ever slept with, you know, the only guy. And recently, like, we just have not been doing it, and it's, you know, basically causing, like, a rift. Like, we're talking about breaking up, and, like, I just don't, like, I don't know. I don't know what to do, like, how to be interested in sex. Like, I don't know if I'm bored or, like, what.
How long you been together? How long you been together?
We've been together for 7 years.
No, the 7-year itch, as they say, that's a long time to be with a sexual partner. You know what I mean? It's a long time to be with one person, and you have to. Is there anything you want that he's not doing?
Well, I mean, he's the only person I've ever had sex with, so I don't really. I mean, I've never like experimented. Like, you know, I don't know if there's anything that he's not doing that I.
Okay, sometimes it can be built up resentment in a relationship. Like, you know, like a lot of times if I was with a girlfriend and we had been fighting or there was a lot of stuff built up, I wouldn't want to fuck her because I'd be angry. So maybe you guys have, or maybe you have some built up tension and you don't want to fuck him because you're mad at him for other stuff, or he doesn't look as good as he used to look, or, you know, what?
Like, he'll get mad at me and he'll be yelling at me, you know, every day, like, you know, why aren't we fucking, why aren't we fucking? And, like, I'm sorry that, like, that doesn't make me want to, like, jump your bones, you know, if you're yelling at me every day. Or, like, if I know, you know, that he's going to be upset.
Well, yelling at you might not be the answer, but what is the answer?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm just bored. Like, I don't know if it's just, like, pointless for me even to be calling and asking about this because I don't even know. Well,
I think it's fair. I think it's fair for him to ask you, not yell at you, but you're not giving an answer. So you might have to say to him, what do you tell him when he asks you?
I'm not really feeling good about myself. Like, I put a little bit of weight on, but I've taken basically, like, you know, half of it off. Like, you know, I'm, you know, like, I keep myself up, and I don't know. I guess I'm just bored. Like, I don't know.
Well, maybe you guys need to try some different stuff, that's all. Maybe you need to try something different. It's hard to say, why does one person not want to have sex with another person?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know even what to say. I don't know. I thought you'd maybe...
Yeah, I don't know, sweetheart, because I don't know the dynamic of your relationship. I don't know exactly why you feel that way, or what your fights are like, or what his dick smells like, or what the way he touches you, whether you like it or not. Has he grabbed your nipples in a way that you've hated for 7 years? There's all this weird stuff that goes into sex that you know what I mean? That you have to really sit down and think, what is it that do I not want to be touched? Do I just not want to be touched by him? Do I want to be fucked by a bigger cock? Do I not want to be, you know, who the fuck knows? Do I want a woman? You got to think about all this stuff. And I don't know the answer to any of those questions because I don't know you.
Well, I guess I really don't like the way that he comes on to me, I suppose. Like,
how does he come on to you?
Just by like very, very strongly, like, oh, like basically just saying it right out, like, oh, like, do you want to fuck? Or just like literally like sticking his hand out of my pants, or just like literally saying something every 5 seconds, like just just over and over about it, like, oh, like, do you want to fuck? Do you want to fuck? Over and over, and like
instead of seducing you. The key is this. It's important. Like a great partner makes you want to fuck them. Like, that's the women I've always loved, are the ones who could make me want to fuck them. And the women who have liked me are the women that I knew how to talk to, or I knew how to text with, or I knew how to, whatever, to make them want to fuck. You never want to feel badgered into sex. So maybe you talk to him, or do you want to be dominant with him?
I do kind of like being dominant, but
why don't you try that?
Well, because he tells me that he wants to be the dominant one. I guess because I guess I'm more dominant in like reality. I guess I don't know. So he just comes on to me, and I'm just like stop, like you're just like so in my face with it. Like, can we just be like chill about it? Like just like play it cool. Honestly, like it's just like I don't like how you're like approaching me about it. And
I understand that. Absolutely. He's kind of just, putting his hand on your pussy going, come on, squeeze, squeeze. Why isn't this thing wet? I mean, yeah, no woman likes that. That's awful.
Literally, that is it. Literally. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, well, no wonder. So he's going to have to, why don't you, have you tried seducing him like in lingerie or something and going slowly and showing him what you like?
Yeah, I've done that, but I don't know if it's gotten through with that. Like, I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's really frustrating if you're telling somebody what you want and they're not listening. That's frustrating. That's very frustrating because you've actually indicated to him, look, I don't like when you do that, and he's still doing it. It's like, what does he expect? So I don't know, man. That's all you can do is tell somebody what you want and then not fuck him until you're ready. Or start to think about, like, do I want to be with this person if they're not going to listen to me after I repeatedly tell them, what I want?
Well, he's already even said to me, like, I'm not getting what I need out of this relationship sexually, and, he's basically threatening to, leave over it, which pisses me off even more, which is like, well, you're coming to me with all this stuff saying that you're going to leave and you're angry. That doesn't make me want to come fuck you,
Well, you guys need to sit down. You know what you guys need to do? You need to sit down and both really hear each other. That sounds so corny. But after 7 years, I mean, people start to just talk at each other. No, give me your pussy. You're not fucking me. You suck. No. All you do is grab my tits. You suck. And both of you probably have real points. And I was just talking about Opie and Anthony, how these weird relationships, you can't even remember what triggered it or what began the downfall. That's how it is with men and women, too. It's like, what the fuck started? Like, was it one time he bit my nipple and I hated him? Or one time, you fucking grabbed his balls the wrong way and rolled over and he hadn't come yet? What began it? You don't need to maybe know that. But it just gets into this tangled mess of blaming each other. So that's basically what I'm saying is Opie and Anthony need to make love, and you and your boyfriend need to do radio together. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, perfect. I love it.
I'll see you later. Yeah. Goodbye, Maggie. See you in Chicago. Oh, yes, Don in Buffalo. What's up?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, pretty good, man. Huge fan. Love
Thank you, buddy.
All right, so I've been seeing this girl for a little while, maybe a month, and it's kind of like your last caller there. She's into the dom sub category.
Okay.
And I thought I was too, but this bitch takes it to a whole new level.
Okay. Are you more dominant or submissive?
She is the sub. I'm the dom.
Do you like that role?
Yes. No, I perfectly enjoy that role, but.
Okay.
Where we started out, it was what my level was: spanking, choking, a little bit, stuff like that. A lot of words, kinky shit like that.
Yeah.
But,
like you say sexy things, like when you're spanking, like, you're so naughty, you should be put in prison.
Yes, just a naughty little girl, but. And then this last time, we were doing the spanking, and she kept telling me harder. And I'm a strong guy.
Sure.
And when we were done, my fucking hand was throbbing, And the only thing she had to say afterwards was, "Hey, you can go a lot harder than that next time." And I was like, "God damn!" Like this chick is getting to a point where I'm just afraid because I'm in law enforcement. I've seen domestic issues. I mean, she wants me to leave marks on her, and I don't know if I can go to that level. You know?
Well, can you not go to that level because you don't want to, or you're afraid of getting in trouble?
I'm be afraid of getting in trouble if something were to go wrong. And she says, "You know what? Fuck this guy. Let me call the cops on him."
Well, you got to be careful. Do you guys videotape your sex?
No, but that's kind of what I was thinking of doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot. Like, it's funny. There was a very famous Robert Chambers preppy murder case here in New York in the 80s where he was having sex with a girl named Jennifer Levitt in Central Park, and he killed her. And he said she was really into rough sex and being choked. And there were signs of a struggle, but he said no, she liked that. And I don't know what the real truth was. Robert Chambers didn't seem like a particularly great guy. He seemed like a bit of a dick. But who knows in those cases? And back then, there was certainly not the video evidence that you can get today easily. Or the texting. Why don't you guys text back and forth? Do you text about it? Like, if you're really a little nervous that she could burn you someday, build up some sort of a history of texting and have her go like, I'm spanking you. Did you like that? And have her go like, yeah, I want you to hit me harder. And you're saying, are you sure? Because I'm afraid I'm going to leave marks. And I want you to leave marks. I'm not saying that that's the answer for everything. But if you have a history of like, kind of texting this stuff to each other, you keep it private. But if it ever comes to where she's going to go to the police and go, he whipped me, you can go, Jesus, look at this. This is what our sexuality is together.
Right.
That's what I would suggest. Maybe I'm just ignorant because I talk about it so much, but I've never been afraid of that. But maybe it is something to think of.
Well, it's because in my career field,
sure,
one thing like that and your career is over. So that's why
there's nothing criminal. There's nothing criminal about whipping a girl if she really likes it, because there's plenty of men that want to be whipped until their back is fucking like Denzel in Glory. I know. I dated a dominatrix. She said there's guys that want you to kick them in the balls and do all this shit. So the fact that that's there, it's a part of human sex. So I don't think that's wrong. Just be careful you don't hurt her if you're choking or smothering. You're a strong guy. Just make sure you don't really hurt her. Because a lot of times, and make sure she's not doing it for the wrong reasons, I would suggest. Because, I don't want to help somebody act out something that's truly fucking agonizing and that's actually hurting them deep down either.
Right.
Okay?
That's 10-4. All right, I'm going to put on the camera and I'm going to choke shit out.
Good luck. All right, good luck, pal. Take care.
All right.
Break it to the bandit. I'm going to mock your ass. Good luck. All right, Brett in Illinois. What's this? Comedians don't treat newcomers well. What are you talking about? Hi, Brett.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hello, sir.
I've just recently started doing some open mics, trying it out.
Okay.
I have to go pretty far out of town, so when I get there, it's just a little bar, and I get there, and I'm the only out-of-towner, and the handful of other comedians that perform at these open mics, they've got their own little clique.
Sure.
And they'll just yap to each other, the whole time. They won't speak to me. They won't look at. They'll go take a piss while I'm trying to do my act. And I guess I'm coming off like a baby, but I had hoped for a little better support from people who know the feeling of just starting out. You know what I mean?
You'll get that as time goes on. There are cliques with comedians. We're all a part of them. I try to be nicer to the newer guys and always say hello because people were nice to me. But don't let that discourage you. Don't let that discourage you at all. Just keep going and keep doing it. You'll eventually become part of the cliques and you'll get to know the comics. And, they can be nice, but some guys are dicks. But don't let that to be relevant to your performance, okay? Don't let that affect you at all.
All right, and I don't mean it to sound like they're keeping me off of Comedy Central or anything. Just
no, I know what you're saying. Sure. Okay.
All right, I appreciate it, Jimmy.
Thank you. Hey, what's up, Tom in Philly? How are you? Hello, Tom.
Yeah, Jim, I got a question for you. Regarding the little incident you guys had last week. I had listened to your show for a very long time, and then I had gotten sober, and I had to stop listening to the show for a while because of a negative vibe that I kind of got from it. So I had to distance myself from negativity and negative thoughts.
Okay.
And then, I've been sober about 8 years now, and I just started listening to your guys' show again right before the split with the show. And I got to be honest, I don't side with the caller of it being funnier without Ant, but it's been more of a positive vibe on the show without it, and that could just be maybe because of Opie's reactions. I'm not really sure. What's your take on that as far as just the vibe being happy or not?
I don't feel like it's happier. I mean, again, I never felt it was unhappy when Anthony was there. So you know what I mean? It's almost like that's a question Opie would be more qualified to, because everything is so different now. It's such a different show, and it's such a different thing. Like, you know, look at all the guys we've had over the years, like whether it was Danny Ross or guys like Derek or, you know, other guys who have just, you know, Steve C, rest in peace, our pal Steve C. All of these people that have been a part of the show that aren't there. In Nathaniel, who I saw recently, it's such a different place. I don't feel like it's more positive now, but I didn't feel like it was negative.
I would just say that it seems to me, like, aside from last week's, you know, blow up and sadness and all that shit, it really just seems to me like Opie in general seems to be a happier guy than he used to be. It doesn't seem like he's coming in going, oh, fuck them, they're fucking assholes, because that was all he ever did before we say fuck.
Well, maybe you know what? That may be true. Maybe he is happier that way. If there was that much bad feelings, let me ask you, because Anthony's got his show on AnthonyCumia.com, and I've been on that, and I've had a great time on that. Have you listened to Ant's show? Does he sound happier to you?
I do notice that. It seems like he seems happier, and not that he seemed negative when he was on with Opie and you together, but I think it really just seems to me like Opie's outlook on things seems to be a little bit happier, and that's what seemed to make this show change so much for me. I just suddenly seen him. Yeah, I hear him being a little bit more positive, and before it was just fuck this, fuck that, fuck everything. I'm like, Jesus, this guy is fucking miserable. That's why I had to show to begin with.
I don't notice it as much, maybe because I'm right there, and it's harder to see things. It's like when you put weight on, you don't notice you're getting fat until you see someone you haven't seen in 3 years, and they're like, nah. So it could be that because we're together every day. But like you said, I mean, Ope kind of admitted this. If he was feeling left out with me and Anthony at times, maybe that dynamic not being there makes him more relaxed. I don't know. And maybe Ant feels the same thing. Maybe Anthony is happier because he doesn't have that tension with Opie anymore. I mean, again, I don't listen to either show. Like, I'll turn on Ant once in a while. I don't listen to myself. So, maybe you're right, buddy.
What, you're not that self-absorbed? Come on. I mean, come on. You're in the cover. You gotta be. That's the way we are.
There's enough Jim Norton. I hear my own voice for fucking 3.5 hours. I take a Jim Norton break. But I appreciate the call, man. I'm glad you listen. And listen to Anthony too, man. Listen to both shows.
I do. Hey, Jim, one quick thing. I just wanted to say I'm very proud of you, and I'm really happy for you with the way that you've turned your life since I've been watching you back on your HBO half-hour show. You know what I mean? You've turned things around royally. I'm very happy for you.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Tom, very much.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. Good luck, buddy. Keep staying sober. That's awesome. Thank you. Steve in Brooklyn. What's up, Steve? How are you?
What's going on, Jimmy? Huge fan, man.
Oh, thank you so much.
You know, long story short, I've been with the same girl since I'm 26. We've been together since we're 14, on and off.
Wow.
Yeah. I broke up with her a few times. I put up some numbers, and this most recent time, I know there was a guy she hooked up with, one in particular, and at first I was angry, obsessing over, like, the details of the hookup. And then, like, last week it came up. I started grilling her about the details, and I swear to God, I started getting in trouble.
Yeah, I relate to that.
I heard you talking about it recently, and I was like, maybe it's starting to turn me on. I don't know how to tell her that.
Yeah, sometimes if you've been with somebody for so many years, sometimes you have to switch things up a little bit. And for you, maybe this is part of your switching things up a little bit. Like, I'm not saying people who are a little bored need to go out and fuck other people, but since it did happen, you're like taking it and incorporating it instead of obsessing in a negative way. Like, there's a lot of schools of thought on past sexual partners. Some people don't want to know fucking shit about it. They don't want to know. Other people want to know every detail, and some people don't really give a shit either way. I kind of like to know the details, but I used to be one of the guys who was threatened by it. So I took what was threatening me and hurting me and making me insecure and making me feel shitty, and I just started fucking cranking my rotten dick to it, and I'm like, holy mackerel, this is fun. So maybe you've gotten to that point.
I was always angry about it, and she knows that. I don't know if there's a way, like, she knows me so long where I can come off without being like a creep. You know what? I really do want to know without getting mad.
It's hard to hear you, buddy, because whatever's going on there. But you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If it happened and you're getting turned on by it, there's nothing wrong with that. So just enjoy it.
Thank you, man.
All right. Good luck, Steve.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, cool. Hey, what's up, John in Jersey? Your girlfriend caught you, huh? What's up?
Yeah. So I was, this could have to do a lot with alcohol too. So I was texting with a girl that gave me a lap dance, no problem. She was trying to invite me to her apartment and a few other things. So I give my girlfriend the cell phone to get in touch with an Uber driver when I was drinking, and she went through everything.
Yes, you rookie. You rookie.
Well, now I was able to talk her off the ledge. That was the best part. We've been together for 4 years, but there's insecurity in her mind because I left her for a Colombian girl that had a beautiful rump on her.
Oh, of course. How can you not?
I know, and now this is a Brazilian chick with a beautiful rump on her, so I'm kind of screwing the pooch. She takes my cell phone at night and puts it away and says, I'll put your phone to charge. Now what she's doing is she's going through my cell phone every single time.
Yeah, you can't have that. I mean, why don't you do this? Why don't you just change your password?
I do, but she's got a very sneaky eye.
Well, then you got to be smarter. Okay, you know, I can't blame her. If you sneaky eye, if you know she's looking out for you, how bad are you at doing it discreetly, sir? Buckle down, for Pete's sake. Just change it while you're taking a shit. She's not watching you then. Or do a fingerprint thing. Get one of the fingerprint ones.
I tried, but it's so inconsistent.
Well, I have no issues with my fingerprint ones, sir. So please, all right?
Is, I pray to God. I was worried because if she would have went through my internet history, there are a few questionables.
Well, like transsexuals?
I don't know.
All right, well, so what? I mean, again, nobody wants to explain that to their girlfriend, but just erase your history then. What do you want? You know, why are you leaving it there if you're worried about it? If you know she's nosy, you know, why are you worried? Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
All right.
So should I try to get her trust back? Should I bail shit before it goes?
No, you don't have to bail shit. You can get her trust back because she did catch you doing something. So, you know, be aware that she's going to be suspicious for a while. Just don't fuck up again. That's all. She's willing to stay with you.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Okie doke. Thank you.
Okay. I only got a couple of minutes. Matt in Westchester. What's up, Matt?
Jimmy.
Yes.
Hey, buddy. Love the stand-up and everything. I wanted to come and see it. Just wanted to So I was wondering what your take is on all, like, the negative stuff on Reddit about you and Opie, because, like, if it was me personally, I would think that some of the stuff's fucking hilarious. Like, you know.
Wait, hold on. Wait a second. Negative stuff on Reddit? I don't believe it. Sir, you're making that up. No, some of it is funny. I mean, to be honest, I've read things about Opie or about myself that were funny, dude. I've heard myself trashed accurately, and I've read things that I thought were very misinformed and very unfair to both of us.
All right, that makes sense. If the new bald Opie Racchio guy, I think that guy's brilliant. And, I mean, I'm sure that, Opie is kind of pissed about it, but, I mean, there's got to be some people out there that kind of trash you that there is a little bit of merit to, you know. I mean, you always talk about how comedy, there's always, like, someone has to be the butt of every joke, right? So
Not always. You don't always have to be, but for me being trashed, like, I'm not as crazy about being. I have an advantage that Opie or Anthony didn't have, and that is you develop a certain skin when you're in front of live audiences, where it's a little bit harder. Let's say I can't be offended. Of course I can, but when you're getting live feedback from people every night, and like, you know, I've been told you suck. I've heard the words, like, you know, while looking at somebody, you stink. People have walked out on me in my career. So as a comic, I think you become a bit more jaded to that. And like I said, dude, I've read things about myself. I've had people trash me on Twitter that I thought was really funny. And I've had people do Photoshops about me that were there was a guy called like Big Jim where he was making me just look big and stupid. I thought it was funny. I mean, you know, as much as I shit on people, I've never been offended at somebody genuinely making fun of me if it's funny. And again, that's the advantage of having sat at the table with guys like fucking Patrice and Colin. I've had my asshole ripped out by funny people, you know, for my entire career.
The thing I like, you mentioned Colin, and like Colin's Twitter is pretty much 100% of the people are just saying like, Colin, you should kill yourself, and he loves that shit. So I guess maybe it's that if you feel like they actually hate you, then it kind of sucks. Is that
And some of them
like
do. In all fairness, dude, some of them do hate Opie. Some of them do hate me. I think it's a mix. Some of them just enjoy, fucking piling on and throwing punches because they enjoy it. Some people are disappointed, or a lot of them are disappointed and they were fans. I'm sure if you broke down those guys, whether it's Reddit or whether it's fucking, Twitter, whatever it is, there's different reasons for people doing it. But a lot of them probably are legitimate or were legitimate fans who are very angry and disappointed. And, some of what they say is absolute nonsense, and some of what they say is funny, and some is accurate, and some isn't. The only thing I have a real issue with is, like, if they're gonna fuck with Opie's family, like, that's, like, I know he said stuff about people's families, and I know, but it's still, like, I guess because I know his family, and I know that they're nice people, that's the only thing that really irritates me. But the rest of the stuff, I don't care.
Yeah. No.
All right?
Like, personal life is outside of the radio. No, I totally agree. All right, cool, man. Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot, pal. And I resent being called the worm, sir. I happen to be a very handsome young man. It's unfair.
Later, worm.
All right, buddy. I'll see you later. All right, guys, listen, I'm sorry to those of you I didn't get to, but we have another show next week. And I've been getting a lot of Twitter help promoting the the tour that the pre-sale is today. So I really appreciate all your help. And again, to reiterate what I started the show with, I'm not sure what's going on at the Lincoln Theater in D.C. Is there a pre-sale? Is there not? So go to their website. Maybe I just didn't have the link. But thank you guys very much. I'm going to Vegas for the fight, so I'll keep you updated on Twitter. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to The Jim Norton Show. Hear all that advice whenever you want to on demand at SiriusXM.com/on-demand. On SiriusXM, it's real.